All right, guys, coming to you alive, full of passion, full of energy, and as always, full of gratitude. I want to thank everybody for being here. We have a couple guests on the line today. No need to do introductions. You're here. This is called Keep It Moving Group Coaching. We focus on the collective wisdom and becoming better as a group. So we're going to go full tilt today. We're going to share some thoughts, some ideas. We're going to go around the room. I want to hear from you guys because there's some important information that we should be perfecting right now in our message to market. But before we get rolling, before we get this thing going down the tracks, I'm going to turn to, let's see, who do I have on the screen is going to bring us out on the field. All right, Otis, big dog, you are here. You're ready. You got your hat on. Usually he's in a robe. He's not in a robe. He's up. He went to the gym probably this morning. Big dog, you know the routine, man. I'm going to have you bring us out on the field. Our team is walking into battle. You are bringing us up through the tunnel. I want to have you bring us out on the field. So big dog, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Caught me off guard, but ready as always. It is Wednesday, so we're going to have to get up over that hump. It is hump day. So whatever that you have been starting this week, make sure you finish it. Don't make any fucking excuses. Hold yourself accountable. If you don't, then you know it's only you and you, the one that are failing you. At the end of the day, lean on the team, lean on all the leverage that's going on, and Elias is right. You need to know the right things to say because the wrong thing could get your ass out of a deal and out of a commission. So as long as you come into here, come into any kind of script role play or anything that is going to help you better your craft in real estate and be able to talk to your clients and your consumers is definitely going to help you out. So kick today's ass and don't let it kick you.
I love that. I love that. Once again, you guys, we do this by design. A, I want you guys to be public speakers because you guys are all in public roles. But two, it's I want to see how you would encourage and inspire others. And every time you guys do it, I'm always encouraged and inspired. So thank you, Otis. So what is the biggest thing in the news right now that we are hearing from consumers? What has been top headlines over the last week? What are you guys seeing that has just been especially close to our market? Banks, absolutely. SVB, absolutely. SVB, you're absolutely right. And that's why we're going to have this conversation today, because here's why. We have to make sure that we are controlling the narrative when it comes to what consumers believe, because what do consumers believe when they hear banks are failing? What do you think a consumer sentiment is that is an uneducated consumer, knows a little bit about the market? What do you think instantly that they think? Yeah, they think crash. They think 2008. They think hold on to money. They think that, oh my God, now is not a good time. Fear of a recession, the market crashing. Now, I understand a consumer. I'm totally empathetic. That's why you guys, being the educated and informed realtors, need to help them understand what is actually happening, why this is happening, and really make sure that you educate yourself so you can better convey this. Because if you don't think that a consumer is thinking about this right now, they are. And if you have people that you're working with or perhaps are on the fence right now, or maybe just a little gun shy or trepidatious about all the things that are happening before this happened, guess what? These people might tighten up a little bit more. Only way that you're going to get them to open up and come a little bit closer and realize the opportunities that are in front of them over the course of the next 30 to 45 days, it's by truly understanding the data, understanding the facts, and making sure that we are articulating this message to market in a very clear way. So a couple things that I want to share with you guys. I did tons and tons of research over the last couple of days. I have some articles up that I'm going to share with you. You guys could find that in Slack. I'll post the articles here today. That way you guys can have some reference points. What I want you to do tonight, today, tomorrow morning, whenever you have the time to read and whenever you are doing your studying, what I want you to do is I want you to start listening to the podcast, reading the articles, looking at KCM, listening to Barry Habib, listening to Housing Wire, going on MSN, and really making sure that you understand everything and then start writing. What I mean by writing is start writing it in a way that sounds good coming from you. The way that Melissa articulates might be vastly different than the way Thomas articulates. And so I want to make sure that you don't only hear the information, read the information, comprehend this, but can you say this information to another person? If you're sitting at an airport and someone goes, hey, Mitch, oh, you're in real estate. Oh my God, the banks are crashing. The world is ending. And oh my God, we're never buying real estate. Well, hold on a second. Let me share with you. So this is why these sessions are important. So I'm going to share some thoughts with you. I'm going to share some questions with you. And then I want to hear what you guys are understanding about this, and if you have already started to perfect this message to market. So here's a couple notes for you guys. Lack of funding and diversification. SVP wasn't like 2008 because they lacked a diversification in their funding. And what that meant, and what I understand, is that now that the tech companies are seeing a downfall in business over the last couple months, just due to consumer behavior, people not spending money on certain platforms, obviously these banks are holding back, or excuse me, these tech companies are holding back money. And so the bank had all of their eggs in one basket. And so they had a lack of diversification. Well, a lot of these banks, or excuse me, tech companies started to pull money. And so it left SVB in a really, really tough situation. The difference with this in 2018 or 2008 is in 2008, the lending rules were a lot looser. The pre-qualification wasn't as in-depth that it is now. The underwriting process wasn't as in-depth that it is now. And there was not many, well, there was some, but not as many constraints on what a lender or a buyer could do in order to get into a home. And then when the market changed, it left people in a horrible, horrible situation. Shortfalls, we all know that story. So here's what I want you guys to start asking consumers, because you know that they are thinking about this, and Bill Pipes reminded me of this on his most recent post. So seizing the opportunity. What was stated over the last couple of days is that the feds may not raise rates on the 21st or 22nd of this month, and they may hold off on raising rates until May, June, July. Now, are we going to see an uptick then? Most likely. But on this the recent one that's coming up 21st, 22nd, we're slated to not see an increase in interest rates, which could be a good thing. As you've seen over the last few days, interest rates have gone down a little bit. So what does that mean for our consumers right now? 3 questions that we need to be asking our consumers to make sure that we are getting in front of this and we're helping them understand what is actually happening right now in the market. First question, did you see what happened over the past few days with the banks, right? Did you see? I tell you what, you guys, that right there, that conversation question is going to open up some dialogue, because most of them have seen this. So did you see what happened with the banks over the last few days? Second question, what are your thoughts? Some may have fear, skepticism. Some may be super optimistic if they really understand the data and what's going on. Some may be pessimistic. So what we're doing is we're trying to identify exactly how a consumer is feeling right now. What were your thoughts? Oh my God, I'm a little fearful. Melissa, I don't know what. Cynthia, I don't know what. Andrew, I'm not sure what that actually means. We're probably going to put our search on hold. I want you to get in front of this. Third question, can I share with you the data and what economists are saying and why it's still a great opportunity over the next 30 to 45 days to purchase a home, right? This is where you guys have spent the time researching, understanding the trends, understanding what the Fed is going to do or not going to do in the next couple of weeks, and making sure that you're truly, truly articulating that. It says here, predicted that the Fed and Powell will not be raising rates March 21st and 22nd. Previous projections that it was going to go up 0.25, 0.5%, but now they're saying that those rates may go up in May, June, and July. So I want to share a few things with you guys. I'll put the links here. So I'm going to put this here. Mortgage rates tumble in the wake of bank failures. This here is a powerful, powerful article. I'm going to share this with you. That way you guys have that. I'll put that in the chat down below. Boom, bam. Here we go. Here's the first one. Also, another one is this one here. No, it's the same one. What's happening? This is a CNN business article that really talks about what's happening. There's a video that supports it. It shares with you the contrast of 2008 versus what's happening now, and why consumer behavior is probably a little bit fearful right now, but ways to start combating that. Let me put this in the chat below. Paste. Perfect. And there's another one. Hey, Judith, I accidentally sent you that first one. Can you put that in the chat? So the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is I want you guys to be able to find ways to really unpack this and have a true, strong message to market. A couple resources for you guys right now is obviously Housing Wire, NPR, and then I think there was a session today in Keeping Current Matters that did a webinar on this. So wherever you're getting your information, I want you guys to share, to perfect your message to market. And what I wanted to do right now is I wanted to go around the room. Some of you, this is a really, really strong point for you. The way that you understand it, the way that you comprehend it, and then the way that you relay this information. So knowing what you know now about what's happened over the last week in the market, all the things that are happening, this hits us home because it's local to us, right? Silicon Valley is right in our backyard. So what are you guys saying to your consumers right now? Have you felt any trepidation from them? And have you came up with something over the last few days that is really, really solid that you'd like to share with the team? I want you guys, the third question was, can I share with you the data that shows what economists are saying, why it's still a good time over the next 30 to 40 days to purchase a home, right? So something along those lines. But it's literally, can I share with you the data and what economists are saying, why it's still a good opportunity? That's literally about it. So I want to turn the mic over to you guys. And now if you don't have something that is perfect, cool, that's why we're here. I want to share, go through our thoughts, go through ideas, where you're pulling information from, if you have other resources. I want this to be a true mastermind on this subject today. So who would like to grab the mic first and share what they're hearing, what they're saying, the conversations that they're having with their consumers? And I want to have a full stream of consciousness on this conversation because it's important, you guys. Cynthia Peterson, I'm glad that you raised your hand first. Let's go over to you.
Is my Wi-Fi okay? Can you hear me?
Your Wi-Fi is
Okay.
fine right now.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So yeah, I just had this conversation with a gal last night. Sam and I are helping a client and she's been looking for a while and she's concerned. And my first question to her was, what have you heard about the bank closures? Right. And she was like, well, that they're closing and that people are nervous. And I said to her, you're right. People are nervous. People in the tech space are nervous. What industry do you work in? She's like, well, in magazines and in editing and in healthcare. Okay, so tech and healthcare, two completely different things. How stable do you feel your job is right now? She's like, oh, I'm super stable. I got hired a year ago. Like, I feel really good about where I'm at. Okay, great. And remember your why was so that you could build generational growth for your family. Has that changed? No. Okay, got it. So this is actually a really great opportunity for you because all those techie workers, and we're working with those folks right now that are taking a step back. But for you, this is that opportunity because they're leaning back. This is your time to come to the front of the line. The industry that's on the market, or the inventory that's on the market right now that's been sitting there for a little bit, those sellers are nervous too. So this is an amazing opportunity for us to go in there, be able to negotiate while all this stuff's going on in the background. We're cool, calm, and collected because you've got a stable, great job. So that was a conversation that Sam and I had last night, going back to the why. It's just the simple stuff that we talk about all the time, right? Figuring out what their why was, going back to that. And then for my tech worker friends, oh, it's been a brutal conversation. So for them, it's more so tell me about what you're seeing. Okay, they tell me. And then I lean it back to the why. But their biggest concern right now is, I don't know that I'm going to have a job in 3 to 6 months. Okay, well, then maybe it is time for us to pump the brakes. What was it that got us here in the first place? Why did you guys want to move in the first place? Well, generational wealth. Okay, well, that hasn't changed. The housing market's still going to be here when you guys are ready. If it takes us 3 months, if it takes us 3 years, I'm here no matter what. I'm going to keep you updated on the market. I'm still going to be trudging forward for you and finding you those great deals. So I think it's more so just being that consultant and listening and like knowing what to say, but also shutting up and not getting stuck in like, oh, well, you know, the treasury is this and housing numbers are this, like know what we're saying, right?
I love it. So let me ask you a question. I'm glad you mentioned tech workers. In the eyes and the vantage point from your friends, what is it about their industry that's making them fearful? Is it lack of adoption from consumers? Is it less people using tech? Like, what is their main concern right now?
Yeah, so a couple things. One is they didn't get paid Friday, right? So their companies are right now trying to figure out how to get those folks paid. That's a big thing. And then, yeah, so like Gainsight, the company that my husband works for, they have to have a certain attrition rate going forward to be a successful company, because these other smaller startups that use the Gainsight product, I don't know if I should be saying their name, but either way, they have this product that aligns with Salesforce, right? And it's for newer companies. If the newer companies aren't there, who do they sell to, right? So that's the concerns that we're seeing in that space.
Wow. Wow. Powerful, powerful. Let me ask you guys a question. Over the last week, do you think purchase applications are up, or do you think that they're down in the last week? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the screen. Jess, I see that. Nicole, you said down. George says up. Okay, cool. Ophelia says up. Melissa says up. So nationally, over the last week, they're up 7%. So what's happening is that people are still seeing the opportunity. People understand if they are educated by people like you, they understand that if the feds do not raise the rates on the 21st and the 22nd, like they said they were going to, and now it is more clear that they are not going to, interest rates just went down slightly. That means that we have an window of opportunity. May, June, and July, the interest rates will most likely go up. So if they're educated, they know that's why applications are up. So I love this conversation. Let's go to Joellen, and then I'll come to Otis. We'll go to George. I'll come to whoever else wants to chime in on this conversation, because I feel we're going to take some really good information out of this. So Joellen, let's hear it.
Yeah, that's really tough for the tech workers. I really feel for them, because it does remind me of 2008, when the guidelines where you can just have a CPA write a letter and say, hey, yeah, I own a church and I make $200,000 a year. Didn't have to show bank statements, didn't have to show anything. And they qualified for a $700,000 loan at a 1% interest rate. Now, what happens a couple of years later, that 1% interest rate turns into 7%, and now they can't qualify for that payment. So now we have foreclosures. Right? That was 2008. Today, it's much harder to get a loan because you have to fully qualify off credit, income, and assets. And also put in, some skin in the game, a little bit of money, right? But what it reminds me of was when these clients did want to buy like a $800,000 house in Berkeley, right? On a 1% negative amortized loan. And let's just say one was an engineer, the other one was a cop. And I was like, well, what happens if your husband gets hurt and can't afford the payment in 4 years? You know what I mean? So you had to talk about the tough stuff to try to like steer them from that. So right now, I feel like this is not 2008. 2008 appraisals were getting slashed. Equity lines were being removed. I mean, I was walking out with files like this crying. So, but I do feel for the tech companies.
So right now, and to go back to this, have your consumers, anybody that you're talking to, brought this up?
No,
okay.
Not here.
Okay. And so it may happen, it may not. But if you don't think that a client and a consumer right now is thinking about this, we're dead wrong. We know that they're seeing this. And if they're in the market right now, they have some level of doubt and worry, and they need you. They need you to be that person. Remember how I said I was going to advocate for you and I was going to educate you? I feel it's important that we hop on a call so I can share with you the reality of what's actually happening and how this is different than how it was in 2018 or 8. This is an important conversation. So Joellen, I love your insight. I love this. It sounds like you have a really good understanding. Otis White, let's hear from you, big dog. Same conversation. Let's just turn the mic over to you, man.
Cynthia made some really good valid points. And then you did too, Elias. It really is going to come down to the educated and the uneducated. The educated, those are going to be the ones that are still in the game, still throwing over asking, doing whatever it takes, going full non-contingent, knowing that whatever market it is, it's time to play ball. The uneducated are going to be the ones that you're going to need to hold the hand. You might have to really rely on that lender combo with getting on the phone with your lender and letting them know that everything is sound, everything is safe. And understanding the market that you're in, that you're servicing in, and then also understanding and keeping up to date on other markets, because you might just get a lead or a client that's in a complete different market like I'm experiencing right now. Got good vibes. Hopefully listing agent's going to call us, tell us we got a deal on the plate and we're in contract. And then just reassuring them if they're still in the game right now, that means that they still want to buy. So you just got to be the perfect combination of friend, realtor, coach, mentor, put all caps on through this market, because it's going to test you. But if you could get through it, you'll be able to get through anything.
So let me ask you a question, and let's just have some role playing here, so to say. So I'm your consumer. I've been looking for the last 3 months in the East Bay. Now, I just saw the headlines of the bank and I told you, hey, Otis, I think we should put our search on hold because I saw that the banks are closing down and we're really, really worried. What do you say?
Elias, I get it. I get the frustration. I see the chaos that you see. All I ask is if you give me just another few days to try to ease this and let you know that it's still the right and perfect time. As you know, you're having those fears. So everyone else that's trying to buy that house that you're trying to buy is having those fears too, which could be a good thing. Let's look at this in a good set of good light. There were 10 people looking at this house. Now there may be 3 to 4, less competition, right? If you don't feel as comfortable on the money side, let's hop on the phone with the lender. Let her discuss everything when it comes to the money, because that's not my area of expertise. But what I do know is that the media will pump you with fear mongering to get you not to buy this house. So it's my job to continue to educate you on why it's still a good time. Now that seller is also feeling that pain too. So now they might be hoping that for those people like yourself is still going to want to buy this house. So if you just let me have some time to show you the data and just to show you right now, it's still a good time because nothing's changed with you financially, right? Your job's still secure. Family still wants to buy a house. You still got the down payment. You still got the closing cost. We're still good. Okay, so let's just navigate this next 24 to 48 hours so I can make you feel comfortable so you can stay with me. Can I at least get that much out of you?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Here's the thing, you guys. I would think about all the things that you're learning right now about SVB, about Silvergate, about the banks closing. So all you need to do is take that information. You need to paraphrase that information in a way that people can receive that information in a very simple way, whether that's on a green screen, whether that's on a video. Now, if you're corresponding with any of your leads, any of your past clients, anybody that's looking for homes right now, you're sending them that video. Hey guys, I made a video addressing what a lot of people are thinking about right now, the bank closures, and I want to give you some clarity. And here's my video, and have a very clear message about it. I think right now, you guys, if you created a really good video that helps people understand that it's still a great time and there's still opportunities that are going to exist for the next 30 to 45 days, you look like the hero. You look like the hero. It's one thing like explaining inflation and how that affects interest rates. Like some of us aren't really that good at conveying that message, but if you read it and you paraphrase it and you make sure that you have a wonderful, wonderful delivery of it, you guys, you could be a hero in a lot of your clients' eyes. So I really appreciate that message, Otis. Let's go to George Martinez. Let's hear from you. And you guys continue to raise your hands because I think we're going to pull out some really, really good information, and make sure that you guys are taking notes on this. This is a powerful conversation. George Martinez, big dog, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I have to say first, I love whenever Cynthia speaks. I feel like every time she speaks, it like even calms me down whenever I hear her. But so what's interesting to me is I actually was in tech before I got into real estate. So it was interesting because when the pandemic first happened, I feel like everyone in tech was really taking advantage of like their stocks and cashing them out and like going IPO, and we're like really those people kind of bidding 100, 200K over the asking price. So it's interesting to see how the tables have turned. And I kind of realized that when Cynthia was talking, because I was like, holy shit, when you're chatting with those people, you can kind of put them at ease too by also telling them that, like, see, hey, remember a year, 2 years ago when the people in tech, you felt like they were kind of the ones benefiting. Now it's your time to shine. Let's go for it. And that's what I loved about the Fast Forward conference this past weekend was Barry Habib was pretty much talking about like, take what's happening with SVB and turn it into a positive. Tell people, you know what? See, SVB is going down. Like, you have 10 mil in the bank. Look at all these tech companies. They're only insured up to about 250,000, which they were supposed to get that this past Monday, but that's it. Everyone else, it's like poof. But it's like, here, real estate is a real asset. Put your money into real estate, because if your kid goes to college over the next 2 years and all these banks crashed, but your house appreciated, why don't you just pull out the line of credit to send your kid to college? So you're really preserving your money. Whereas, like, let's say you have 10 mil and then you're buying out like shit, a ton of multi-units. Here you are, then you became a landlord. Your money's in real assets and it's in residential income property. So there you are. You're still like, your money is more preserved, but then you're also charging all of these tenants rents. And then here's your advantage, is what I've been telling all of my buyers recently that want to go for single family homes and are freaked out. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Why don't you just go for a multi-unit, a fourplex, and buy it vacant and then raise all of those rents to market rent, because everyone's always going to need a place to live. So make sure that you're secure. Yeah, you might have to live in it for a year to 3 years. But would you rather freak out, all your money go poof in the bank, and then you're here crying and then you couldn't have bought a house? But here you are, you're winning and seizing the opportunity during this time when everyone's kind of like a chicken running with their head cut off, believing in everything in the news. But really, it is our time to shine, you guys. And that's the beauty that I love about our team, is that we're here able to collaborate with each other. And honestly, half the time, I even forget about all of the fucking noise that's going on around because of these calls, because we're here able to collaborate with each other and really uplift each other. So that definitely helps reflect in all of our numbers. And let's fucking crush it, because you guys can do it too. So
I love it. I love it. You guys, despite what's happening in the banks in the last week, purchase applications are up 7%. There's a hook somewhere there. There's a hook somewhere there that can bring people in a little bit closer and be like, wait, what is he about to say? And I love this correlation with the tech, because if you've been in this game for more than 2 years, what we saw in the end of pandemic year in 2021, early 2022, is that so many tech buyers were in the industry that had huge amounts of money. Why? Because they had these stocks that they were sitting on. They were able to liquidate their stocks. They were able to beat out the average buyer. And what I mean by that is, we got asked by Inman a couple months back, like, what kind of market do you see that we're going in? I believe that this has become more of a blue collar market versus where it was last year. Now, obviously, it's been getting a little more competitive over the last few months, but this is an opportunity for those blue collar buyers to get into the market. Interest rates are a little bit low. May, June, July, the interest rates are going to go up. But this time when people are holding, this is an amazing opportunity for your consumers. So good points, George. Good stuff, Cynthia. Heidi, let's go over to you. What was your contribution on the topic? Let's hear from you. Heidi, you ready? There we are.
Yeah. Elias, I think what you have to remember when you're educating clients, one of the great things we have is the below 3% interest rates from the pandemic, and the tightened underwriting guidelines that are saving us from all the foreclosures that we had in 2008. Because I hear from a lot of people, oh, well, I'm afraid the market's going to crash because rates are going to go up. We're going to have all these foreclosures and everything. And I just calmly explained to them, well, you have to remember the benefits of home ownership. Why am I, buying a house, the wealth, tax benefits, and use a lender, or even refer them to a CPA if they don't have one to back it up.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I could not agree more. You guys should be leaning to analysts that you guys know. And absolutely, if you have a great, because I promise you, if you call Patty Goodspeed right now, if you call Christina Nunes right now, if you call Catalina Alvarado and you say, hey, what is your take on what's happening with the banks right now? And what are some things that I should be talking with my consumer? You guys should already be having the conversations with your lenders right now, so they can share with you, because they're on the banking side, what this actually means, and hear that from them, you guys, and then get them on the calls with you guys. So really good stuff, Heidi. Mohsen, I'm going to ask if you are going to contribute, big dog, put your camera on, and I'm going to have you go rapid fire, Mohsen. So what is the contribution?
Is my camera showing?
No, it's just a black screen, but let's just go ahead and keep the momentum, big dog. Let's hear from you, rapid fire.
All right, sorry about the screen. I don't know why it's black. But in regards to the collapse of banks, I was at Bear Stearns in 2008, 2007 up until that time. And Joe Allen was correct. The kind of loans that our products we were pushing was, for example, one was called CISA, stated income, stated assets, which was ridiculous because basically you can say, hey, I just want a loan for whatever amount, and you would get qualified. The difference between 2008 and today is that the feds were reactive in 2008. They waited a long time before they started looking into supporting the situation. Today, they ceased SVP's operations last Friday because they saw them take I think 42 billion or billion out in trying to assist a sale that collapsed on Wall Street for them. And so what I also see is when I look at MLS and the industry has cooled, a lot of the values of homes are dropping, which means that there's buyer power, right? So if I talk to a homeowner today, I would say, did you know that the values are down? And that allows you to potentially even ask for a lower price for the home. So there's, I think the market's going to sustain. I think that based on what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, and even the things that you guys are saying, that I don't see a collapse. In terms of the frenzy, there's still a lot of people out there with money, big, deep pockets. And typically when you're smart and you have all that money, you don't have all your marbles in one basket, meaning that, yes, the FDIC only securitizes 250,000, but that's also a reason why most banks don't keep most people don't keep all their money at one bank. They know to take, excuse me, a chunk of their money and spread it out in multiple banks so that their money can be secured better.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Right. So that's my contribution. I have a lot to say because I came from this industry, but
no, and we appreciate the contribution.
Yeah.
Here's the thing to think about, you guys. Like in some regards, there is people out there that need you to be their Sherpa, that instantly, the moment that they hear something, they go that way. It's like when people say, for example, it's a bad movie, you shouldn't go see that movie. And then you just listen to that person and you don't go see that movie. When in hindsight, it's probably a really dope movie. And then you actually form your own opinion. What I mean by that is that there's so many people that need you to be their Sherpa. And the Sherpa is the one that guides them, the one that takes them through this trek, through this journey. And that needs to be you. But you can't do that if you're still just having the same message that we had 30 days ago. Like I always say to you guys, everything that you do in this business is a moving ad campaign. Right now, what is the ad campaign? The ad campaign is addressing what is actually happening with the banks right now and articulated it in a way that a consumer can understand and it can register with them. So it's constantly changing. And now when the spring market comes up, your message to market changes. Now when it's summertime, the message to market changes. So you're always looking at creative ways to adjust your marketing and adjust your messaging. For a couple of reasons. A, you want to make sure that our consumers are staying, well-versed on what's going on, they're in the know. But secondly, it keeps you fresh. I don't want you guys saying the same old thing. It's monotonous. It's not fresh. You don't feel good. It's just boring, right? So you keep yourself fresh. You constantly are reading. You're a student of this game. You're a student of knowledge. You're a student of data. So when you're on a conversation with a consumer, no matter what, if a consumer tells you that, yeah, it's a crash and you're okay with that, you are not doing your job. You're not doing your job. And what I mean by that is if you don't have a way to combat that and educate them and inform them and help them understand the reality of what is actually going on, then you guys aren't practicing enough. You're not practicing enough and you're not doing the best job for your consumer. So here's the thing. I'd like to hear from 3 other people on this. If I don't hear from you, I'd probably just want to raise your hand for you. I'd love to hear from Andrew on this one. Andrew, you always have some really good introspective views when it comes to this. So my man, if you can share with us, I'd like to hear from you, Melissa. I'd like to hear from you, Ophelia, whoever else wants to raise their hand on this. So Andrew, let's hear from you, big dog.
And I think I'll echo what Cynthia has mentioned, going back to the client's motivation. because that's going to be at the heart of everything that they're our clients and what they're looking to do is what they're why they're motivated to move in the first place. And no matter what's going to happen, whether it's a job change or if it's kids needing to change schools or a life change, a death, a birth, like whatever that may be, that's going to be what's going to be driving them to move. The market, I mean, is going to affect it so much, but at the end of the day, our clients are still going to make a move regardless of what happens in the world. And sometimes these things can't really, like, they can't put a hold on these life events. So at the end of the day, I think it's focusing on our clients' life events and taking care of what they are looking to do, and then adding in the market message into it. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because I mean, there's only so much we can control.
I love it. I love it. I want to ask a quick survey question for you guys really quick. And I always like to do these consensus questions because it gives me a good idea of where there's opportunities for growth for each of you. If you think about the week, just say, let's say the working week, let's say we're working 5 days, and I know you guys work the weekends, but let's just take a Monday through Friday. How much time in 5 days are you actually spending reading up on the market and understanding the data and what's happening around you? If you guys can, please be honest, please be transparent. Put your numbers in the chat down below in equates to hours, or if it's minutes, put the minutes. But every single week, how much time are you spending reading on the market and understanding the data, facts, figures of everything that's happening around us? All right, cool. So let's just start going through this, you guys. And I love this, and I appreciate the honesty. 1 hour should be at least 2, 3-ish. I read a lot of news, probably 2 hours a day. Really cool. I spend 3 to 5 hours a week, honestly, throughout the day. 4 to 5 hours. I spend too much time on Google News. 1 hour a day. Good stuff, Mark B. Chris Edwards says 2 to 4 hours, mostly listening. 2.5 plus watching BAM and podcasts. 1 hour in the morning, I watch videos in the evening. You guys, that right there is going to be the key differentiator. That is going to be the key differentiator as markets shift, change. Somebody said it earlier. I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried, because if that 7% purchase agreement application is up week over week, guess what I want to do? I want to find that 7%. I want to keep working to find that 7%, because that's their reality. They're still stoked. They're excited. They want to be in the market no matter what happens. That's their reality, a 6.75 interest rate. They're stoked to be homeowners, right? So I never look at it as, oh my God, doom and gloom. I always am trying to find the opportunities, and that's what I love about you guys. So look at this. So 1 hour watching videos and news. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna dovetail off of this. If you're spending that much time reading, trying to comprehend in the same thread, I want you guys to put down below, how much time are you actually practicing this out loud or practicing it in writing? Let's hear that number. And go ahead, light it up in the chat, you guys. Nothing yet. Every day. That,
say it again.
Okay, so you've read an hour, 2 hours a day, whatever that number was, 5 hours in the week. You've read, you've comprehended it, you've listened to the podcast. How much time are you actually practicing articulating that to a consumer? So RE News every day through email. Okay, yikes, not that much. Cynthia, 1 hour a week. That's where I need to improve. Vernon, I appreciate that. So Melissa says 15 minutes. Melissa, what was your other number? So 15 minutes is the time that you're practicing. What was the other amount of how much time you're reading and comprehending the information?
3 hours-ish a week.
See, so I'm making a correlation here, you guys. Yeah. This is not public shaming at all. This is just making sure that we are getting better. So Tom Sebastian, 15 to 20 minutes. Prospecting is 10 hours a week minimum. Okay, cool. 30 hours a day, not enough. Oh, to a consumer, yes, to a consumer. But here's the thing. What I mean by that, Cynthia, is like, hey, Otis, I know everything that's going on with SVP and Silvergate. you want to spend some time with me? I just want to practice on what we're actually saying to our consumers, right? When we tell them, can I share with you the data that economists are sharing with us that will, why it's still a great opportunity over the next 30 to 45 days. Are you practicing that with somebody? Because we're reading all this information. I believe that you guys are very smart and you're educating yourself, but it's also another thing to really practice that. All right, Will, hey man, some things just happened in the market. Interest rates just went up. Interest rates just went down. Spring inventory. Let's practice so we can make sure that we have a really, really good flow. So let's see what else. Constantly practicing. Market conditions always fluctuate in one direction or another. This does not change the need to owning home and not burning rent. You have to work through any market or you are broke. 100%. I agree with that. Jeff, you had your hand up, bro. What is your contribution on the topic? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the biggest things that like once again we're going back to Cynthia because she's the GOAT. But one of the biggest thing that she said was that she said, hey, you know what? If this time isn't like right and it doesn't make sense, it's okay that we go ahead and take some time back to self-reflect. Because one of the BAM videos that I watched, Tommy or Tolzien, he was like, my business exploded after 2012 because I was willing to have and listen to my consumers about affordability versus lifestyle upgrades. So right now I have a client right now that they don't care about the rate. So when I got down to their why, they're tired of being in this 1-bedroom apartment, more like a studio, and it's him and his wife, and they're all up on top of each other trying to work from home and things like that. So they're like, I don't give a shit about the rates. We just need more room. So they're not the type of person I'm going to have the conversation about affordability. It's more about the why of the lifestyle. Whereas when you do have someone that is concerned about affordability and there are trials and tribulations, being able to be that empathetic agent that says, hey, I'm going to be here for you no matter what. We're going to come up with strategies for you through this whole process. And if we got to take a step back, that's okay, because the first person that they're going to think about being authentic is you. So you want to be top of mind and be able to really listen to your consumer. Don't just, hey, no, I know, but like, if you get in right now, we can still get the rate down and we can buy it. Sometimes that's a little bit too much for them. And they're just like, they want somebody to say, hey, it's okay, but I'm going to still be there for you when you get back into this thing. So let's go ahead and reinvest our strategy and then go from there.
Totally. Sometimes people just need a hug and be like, hey, when I'm here for you, I'm here to help you, educate you, and advocate for you, but let me give you a hug. And when it's your time, it's your time. And I believe that. And I think that's a wonderful point. Cynthia, you had your hand up again. Let's go over.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
real quick, when I tell them like, I'm here for you, we're going to wait this out together, I'm still on top of sending them stuff. I'm still scrubbing the MLS. I'm still sending them market updates. Right. Because usually what happens is they'll be like, yeah, we're going to take a break, 3 to 6 months. Lo and behold, a month later, they're like, actually, we just saw this property hit the market. Can you show it to us? Boom. And then we're back to the races, right? So even if they're telling you, we're going to take some time. Okay, I completely understand. I'm here for you. I'm still going to keep you updated. But it's so important that you guys don't let those folks just go to the wayside. Like, still keep on top of them. Just update them in your client list instead of being an A hot lead. Move them to B, but still keep on top of those B and C list folks that are out there.
That's right. And you guys, when you see a video, if you watch a Barry Habib video, I believe that after seeing him at our Fast Forward conference, he has his message is some of the easiest to understand. The correlations that he makes, the way that he educates us and as well as consumers. If you see a great video that really, really supports them, helps them, will educate them, share that video. Hey, Tom, just wanted to say hello. I came across this video today. I think that you'll find tremendous value in it. Let me know if you have any questions you want to talk about that. Share those things with the consumer, because like Cynthia said, they'll know that you're looking out for them regardless. So good stuff, Cynthia. Good point. Ophelia, let's hear from you. I almost said.
Hi, good morning. I'm sorry. What was that?
Let's go, Ophelia. Let's hear from you.
Okay, yeah. So right now, I'm predominantly working with first-time home buyers. So they don't have they have some concerns, and they're not constantly like on the news, thank God. However, they are hearing a lot from their parents and the uncle from the crash. So my whole approach is I totally listen them out. I try not to interrupt. I'm too impulsive sometimes, and I want to cut in. So I have to like mute my phone while they're talking, so I don't cut them off. And then I let them run. And then it comes back down to the why. Why are we doing this? And once we establish that, I said, the right time is when it's right for you. It's not the right time when you're trying to time the market. It makes sense for you now. If worst case scenario, what it is today makes sense for you now, then let's lock it in. Let's walk it together. If your uncle, if your mom, if anybody have some issues, I'm okay to have a conversation with them as well. Like, let's sit all together if we need to. And that's kind of scary because then you end up getting like all these noises and goes off tangent. But usually they're pretty like, no, we're good. Okay, like, let's go back to the why, and hearing them out and telling them that you're going to walk with them. At the same time, educating them. Little tidbits like, hey, this is what happened. Do you understand what Silicon Valley Bank is? Do you understand what just happened? No, not really, but I know something bad just happened. Okay, do you want me to unpack it? Or she goes, yeah. So I kind of give them a snippet and we move on. So
good. I love it. And being able to ask I just put the questions in the chat below, but to being able to address it, like she said, little snippets, a little bit of information, just to let them know that you're here to educate them and help them move along this process. Good stuff. Will Dangler, let's hear from you, big dog, rapid fire, and then we'll start closing out the session.
Absolutely. So one of the points that I was just putting in there, I dropped a couple of things in the chat. The market is going to present challenges for people all the way across the board, right? So if we're going to continue to make money and not be a victim of the market, we really want to focus on needs and not wants. And so to do that, if you took a list of all your past clients and anybody that you're working with right now and even made a simple spreadsheet, right? Who has a want? Who would like to upgrade at some point? Who would like to sell their property because they're thinking of moving out of state, right? Those are not your priorities to focus on right now. The people that are trying to get out of their rental to buy their first property, that don't want to burn rent anymore, that don't really care as much about rates or the small fluctuations, right? That's a huge priority. Anybody that you know that you've ever sold an investment property to, or who is thinking of buying an investment property, they're also a need, right? So one of the things that I dropped is, if you know people that have bought before, say that you only have a handful of maybe 10 potential buyers, right? Focus on anybody that you know in your sphere or in your database that owns investment property, because every single one of them would move that money through a 1031 into a higher performing investment property and make more money right now, because they need to insure themselves or hedge against the economic changes that are coming down, right? If they've already got money in real estate and they can protect their capital gains, move it into a higher yield, you're able to list that property in the event that you find them a better performing return for the same basis. If you don't understand 1031s, get educated. There's a shit ton of information out there on YouTube, but that you could sit down every single day and have no buyers, and you could pull a list of investment property owners and say, hi, this is Elias Astuto, work with Fast Real Estate. Just want to make sure you have a firm grasp on 1031s. I've got a handful of opportunities right now where we might be able to move you into a higher yield property with no basis, right? Or with no change in basis, right? Those people want to make more money and they understand what's happening in the market. They want to see stronger returns, because most of them have diversified portfolios and they are taking losses somewhere across the board. It is a major need. So if you find yourself not closing deals or not having the database, get educated on that. Call me if you need to, but create the opportunities from people's needs and not their wants right now. You understanding the market and being able to even recapitulate what we've talked about on this call will get you to have a conversation with me as an investor. I will know that you are not just someone, Barry, who sells the house down the street, right? I want to have a conversation with you. You understand my portfolio. Let's see what you can do with it. And some of those people have 50 property portfolios, right? Sell yourself as the professional who knows what you're talking about, and you'll close more deals.
God, I love it, Will. Love it. Appreciate all the insights. So you guys, let's do this. I want to hear from a couple of people that are on the call today. Just want to get some key takeaways before we close out this session. I think that this was good. If you do not have a notebook full of notes, go back and watch this recording. Listen to it. Take the links that we put down below. Take those questions down below. Put those into your emails. Put that in your correspondence. But before you even think about putting that into your correspondence, you need to make sure that you understand this and you understand it at a very high level, to where if you had a napkin presentation at a bar, at an airport, you can actually explain this to somebody. So let's do this. Let's go around the room. I want to hear from a couple of people. Clarissa, good to see you. Let's hear from you. Key takeaways from our time together today. Clarissa, let's hear from you. And then Vernon, you're up next.
Key takeaways are just to educate myself on what's going on with the banking industry right now, and to practice that and know what I need to say to clients whenever this comes up. So
Totally. And you guys saw the numbers. You guys are spending a high amount of time of reading, trying to comprehend, and I respect that. But I think that it's equally as important that you actually are saying these things out loud, right? Because we all can read about inflation. Somebody, can you mute yourself and get some background noise? I don't know where that's coming from. All right, thank you. We all read about this stuff, but how can we actually get it out in a way that's like, ooh, that flows. That sounds really, it's like your buyer's consultation. Right now, you guys should be able to nail a buyer's consultation. Some of you nail a listing presentation as well. This is just like those presentations, what it took to practice, to go over, to write your notes, to make sure that it sounded good. It's the same thing. It's just mastering presentation. So really good stuff, Clarissa. I love that. Vernon Williams, let's hear from you, big dog. Key takeaways from our time together today.
Key takeaways for me is that, you know, I have more learning to do. I oftentimes forget that I've been in real estate for about 7 months, and there's so much for me to learn. There's being specific about allocating time to learn, but then also to practice. See, that's hella important. It's not just about my good looks or my articulation that's gonna get me sales in this game. It's about the emphasis that's being put on understanding exactly what's happening, and then how to clearly convey that in layman's terms to my market about what's happening. It's getting comfortable with that. And so that was just one of those authentic, critical moments of self. It's like, all right, bro, you really have to approach this almost from a student's perspective so that you can become the teacher. And it's just about getting comfortable with that for me on a consistent, repetitive, intentional basis. So I'm over here slapping myself like, yo, life happens to everybody, bro.
That's right.
And it's all about how we adjust and adapt to what's happening in life to stay relevant, stay consistent, stay informed, stay educated. So this was good for me.
I love it, man. And you know what, we always appreciate when you grab the mic and speak. You just have a really, really powerful way of communicating. Here's the thing, you guys, like, this is why we do coaching. Coaching isn't something that, oh shit, I have to go to coaching. Like, I want you guys to want to be here, but I don't want you to be here if you're not willing to learn, grow, and to apply the things that we cover in coaching, right? I have a coach. You guys have coaches. You guys have a coaching department. You have me. Some of you are paying for all these things, right? This should never be spent in vain, your time. It means that you come to these and say, you know what is one thing? One thing. This is not about closing our notebooks and going back to fucking watching TV. This is about taking the things that you hear from Cynthia, from George, from Ophelia, from Will, from your brothers and sisters on this call, and saying, you know what? I'm going to apply this instantly in my business. Here's one thing that I can do. You guys get this opportunity to come and hear from all these beautiful minds. Cherish these moments because this is important. So we're going to close out, you guys, but I want to say thank you for all of your insight. We're going to continue to do these conversations on Wednesday. I think it's powerful. And like George said, I feel that we're more equipped. I think that we're champions. I think we play as champions. We show up as champions. And I'd said in my email earlier, be a master at showing up. Simply get yourself in these rooms. come to the sessions, come to role play, go to the meetings, go to the events that we have in the office. Simply become a master at showing up, because there's so much power in being around people and everything that you're going to learn from them. So you guys, that's all I have for you today. I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm more grateful for you than you'll ever know. Thank you for allowing me to have this space to be with you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. Peace.